Hey, what's up guys? Jay here. Today I'm talking about the forearm plank, how to do this movement properly to take the stress off of your shoulders and put the stress on the core to really help you build core strength and get the most out of this movement. I'm gonna show you a great activation drill you can do with a partner to help really ingrain proper plank technique. I'm gonna show you different ways you can modify, different ways you can make this more advanced. And then we're gonna finish off the video by showing you 10 different plank variations that you can add into your training to make your plank training more interesting while still building really next level core strength. First things first, is this even a good exercise for building core strength? And the answer is it definitely can be when it's done with proper technique, it's used in the right context, and is programmed properly in workouts. This is a movement, when done properly, works a majority of the core. So we're working the rectus abdominis, we're working the transverse abdominis when done properly, and we're also working some of the lower back as well. So when done properly, used in the right context, this can be a very beneficial exercise for a lot of people. All right, first things first, let's talk about the upper body, which plays a very important role in keeping that core engaged and us getting the most out of this exercise. So first things first, I want your hands pointed straight ahead. Next, let's talk about the shoulder and the shoulder blade. So we don't want to be retracted holding the plank. We want to be protracted the entire time. So we want to keep this strong protracted position, really pushing our shoulder blades towards the ceiling the entire length that we're holding the plank. Next up, we're talking about the hips, we're talking about the abs, we're talking about the glutes and the quads. This is what's going to make or break your plank. If you're struggling with planks, feeling this in your shoulders mostly, the shoulders are giving out, this is what you need to pay attention to. Really could do the whole video on just this portion of the plank because it's a total game changer. So we're in that protracted position. We have a straight line from the shoulders all the way down to the toes. Hips aren't sagging, butt isn't up in the air. Look at my abs here. Abs are bulged out. I want you to tuck your abs in using the transverse abdominis. Squeeze your glutes at the same time, flex your quads. So now I'm rigid from the shoulders all the way down to my toes. Notice the abs and the glutes stay contracted the entire time. So we're never just relaxed in this position. We're actively squeezing the glutes, tucking and squeezing the abs the entire length of the movement. And lastly, let's talk about foot positioning. So the wider the feet are, the more stability that we create, making this exercise easier. The more narrow we are, the less stability we have side to side, making this movement more challenging. All right, guys, let's dive into this activation drill I was telling you about. So I used to use this with my clients all the time in warm-ups, just a great drill to get the entire body warm and activated. Let me tell you, this is way harder than you think. So you guys can do this with your trainer. You can also do it with a training partner. So one person is gonna act as the dictator. The other person is gonna be in somewhat of a plank position. So you're gonna be on the knees, but you're gonna be ready to get into the plank. So as soon as the trainer / training partner says up, you're gonna pop up to that plank, you're gonna squeeze your core, squeeze the glutes, flex the quads as hard as you can, and until they tell you down. Once they tell you down, you rest. They can tell you to get back up right away. They can have you wait 5-10 seconds. It's totally up to them. They say up, you pop up, and you hold until they say down. So it's at their discretion. They can have you hold for 2 seconds. They can have you hold for 10, 20, 30 seconds. But you're gonna do this for 10 to 15 reps. If you're working with a training partner, you guys will then switch and the other person acts as the dictator and you get your revenge. Now, before we get into the 10 different plank variations, let's talk about how to modify this movement as well as how to make it more challenging. So first and foremost, modifying the movement, I want you guys to use an elevated surface. This allows us to maintain the exact plank position as opposed to going on the knees where we remove a lot of the lower body. Still a decent modification, but it's gonna be way better to really mimic the movement exactly, but just be on an elevated surface. What's also great about using an elevated surface is that we can really track our progress. So we can slowly lower the platform that we're using, making sure we have perfect technique as we lower until we're ready to hold the plank on the floor with perfect technique. When it comes to making this movement more challenging, there are a number of different ways we can do that, but the simplest, most accessible way is to turn this into an extended plank. So right off the bat, what this does is puts way more focus on the core. You can see I'm already shaking here. And it also inevitably takes a lot of the focus off of the shoulders and puts more of that focus on the core. So if you're looking to make this more advanced and more challenging, very simply, just turn this into an extended plank.